This is the calm before the storm.
On the 12th of March 2020, Taoiseach Leo Varadkar announced that all schools and colleges would close as part of measures to help prevent the spread of COVID-19 in Ireland. Facing into 3 weeks of isolation, we, 5 college students, decided to keep ourselves busy and keep our spirits up by setting some challenges. Each person's challenge was chosen for them by someone else in the group, and we all had 2 weeks to complete them. Here's how it went. Erica, for your 2-week challenge in quarantine, you're going to be learning how to do yoga. So for the next 2 weeks, you need to get your yoga mat out and learn some moves. And by the end of the 2 weeks, hopefully you'll be able to give us all a lesson.
Wow. I've never done yoga before. I don't have a yoga mat, so I'll be doing it on my rug. But hopefully I'll do pretty well, and I'll be a yoga master by the end of 2 weeks. I'm picking for you, Evan, and I decided that you should do some gardening because I know how much you love plants and flowers, but I don't think you're very good at keeping them alive. So there's a challenge for you.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to go well, but I'll try my best, and I've always wanted to do it, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm choosing for Becky, and I want to see what birds we have flying around Dublin. So you're doing bird watching.
Oh, that's a different one, but yeah, I'll give it a go and see if I see many. Amber, I chose for you, and I chose sewing. I think it's something you've always been interested in learning, so give it a go.
Yeah, it sounds good. I mean, never used a sewing machine in my life though, so we'll see how that goes. Megan, I'm choosing for you, and I want you to learn a little bit of French.
Okay. I did have it in school a few years ago, but I've kind of lost it, so it'd be good to brush up on it.
So last night, Megan chose for me to do yoga as my hobby. I've never done yoga before. It's actually one of those things I've wanted to take up for a really long time, but never got around to it. So I'm really excited to give it a go and see if I enjoy it or not. I know it's really good for your mental health as well. It can help you like really relax, and I'm just really interested to see how I find it and if I enjoy it.
Hello. So it's now been 2 days since I was given the activity of gardening for my 2-week quarantine hobby. In that time I've gone to the shop and I've gotten some plants and I've gotten some seeds. So I'm going to spend some time digging out the old pots in my garden because there's a lot of them that are very overgrown after the winter. I'm going to plant some of the new plants I got, as well as trying to grow some of the new seeds. I'm aware that they won't fully grow in the 2 weeks, but I'm going to see how far we can get with them. As well as that, I'll be looking at fertilizers and other ways to maintain plants. So yeah, I'm going to try get everything covered. I'm very excited. I'm nervous in a way because I've never really been able to keep anything alive.
Hello. So today is the day after we had our video call where I found out that I was going to have to take up bird watching as a hobby during quarantine. I have a decent sized garden and I know there's a lot of different types of birds flying around, but I've never actually just sat and looked and taken note of which ones are there. So I think it'd be really interesting and definitely something to do while I'm stuck at home. So after the call I did some research into bird watching just to see if there was more than meets the eye. And the top 3 things to do were get a pair of binoculars, get feeders and get a chart. So I did the shopping yesterday and I picked up some bird seeds. I have a pair of binoculars, and a few weeks ago in one of the papers they actually did up a chart of all the different birds you might see in your garden, so I kept that. So I think that'll be really useful. So hopefully by the end of the few weeks I'll be able to say that I ticked them all off, or even half, but yeah, I think it'll be really fun. So this is the finished product of my DIY bird feeders. All I did was I got a Flanagan's Quick Oats Easy Measure Tub, put a hole in each side with corkscrew, fed string through it, tied it at each end, and then sellotaped it on the inside just to make sure that the string didn't hang out too much. It was really easy. It only took probably about a minute or 2, and I made a good few of them. So all that's left to do now is just hang them up.
So I've just found out that for my 2-week challenge in quarantine, I am going to be learning French. So French is a subject I did in school. I was never particularly good at it. I always wanted to be, but for a couple of different reasons, I was just never really able to make good progress with it. I'm going to use the app Duolingo. Downloaded that, I've got my flashcards, and I'm ready to go. I have my flashcards here, and I use the
challenge of Becky to learn some sewing. I've never sewn before, so I have no idea what I'm doing. I think what I'm going to do is try and make a small pillow. I have looked up some stuff, but kind of gonna wing it and just hope for the best. I don't have all the supplies that I would like to have, so what I'm going to use is I have some old curtains that there's a pattern side and then a plain side, so what I'm going to do is use the pattern side, I think, to make the pillowcase. And then I have some old pillows that I'm going to use for the stuffing. So hope it all goes well. Don't know what's going to turn out like, but I suppose that's all part of the process, so we'll see.
Okay, so I'm just here to give a little update because I've hit the halfway mark of the 2 weeks and I'm really enjoying yoga. I think it's really relaxing, and after all of this, it's definitely something I am going to keep in my routine because I really do enjoy it. That being said, I'm actually not great at it still. I suppose I can't expect miraculous results in 1 week, but yeah, I'm not the best. There's a lot of moves I still can't do.
So I've now filled my pot with dirt and I'm starting to plant some of the seeds. As you can see, I'm going by the guidance given to me on the packet to just bury them down a small bit and cover them over with soil. So I then repeated the process with as many as I could fit in the pot. I also didn't want to plant too many, and I was making sure to leave the appropriate space so that they weren't going to grow on top of each other. Once this was done, I placed it inside in the light. Hopefully we'll see some results soon.
So we are halfway through now and I'm actually really enjoying bird watching. When I first put the seeds out, I didn't think many birds noticed that they were even there, but then one little bird went over and knocked all of the seeds out of one of the feeders onto the ground. And from then on, I think they've kind of been aware of them because I've seen more of them eating out of both the feeders and the bird tables. So yes, from that I've seen loads of different types of birds that I didn't even think we had in our garden, like blue tits, coal tits, tree sparrows, wrens and robins. Obviously I've seen kind of the more common ones like blackbirds, pigeons and seagulls.
Okay, so it is 1 week into my quarantine challenge of learning French. So I've been using the app Duolingo and I've been finding it really good. It's very interactive and it's very user friendly. There's a lot of different exercises on it. I do find though that you have to do it every day. So I've been doing about 15 minutes a day. And I did miss one day and I noticed you kind of get a little bit of out of touch with it. So since then I've really been trying to be disciplined with myself.
Okay, so I've been doing yoga every day for 2 weeks now. I have to say at the start I did really struggle with it and I didn't know whether I would actually get any good at it. It's definitely something I'm going to keep up with because I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would, and it's actually been something I wanted to start for a while but never really got round to. And I think it's a really good way to spend a bit of my time while we're all still stuck inside.
I made some pretty good progress. I'm actually kind of proud of myself for what I've done. I've learned that I really don't like bugs. I've learned that I can actually grow some flowers. They of course weren't fully grown in the time which I had expected going into this, and I'm looking forward to summer when they can properly bloom.
We're at the end of our challenge of taking up a new hobby during quarantine, and for me I think it went really well. I ticked 12 birds off my list, which I think is pretty good considering I didn't even leave my garden. Initially I thought it'd be quite easy to birdwatch, but it proved to be somewhat quite difficult. It took a lot of time and a lot of patience, but yeah, it was really good. I think the feeders helped a lot. It kind of attracted a lot of different birds and they were really easy to make, so I think I'm going to keep filling them up as well as the bird tables because now I kind of know the birds' habits, and I've even noticed that there is a family of them living in my shed roof, so I'm going to keep an eye on them, keep putting food out for them.
Bonjour, comment ça va? Je m'appelle Megan, j'ai 21 ans, j'habite en Irlande et pour 2 semaines maintenant, j'apprends français. J'ai étudié français en école, mais il y a longtemps. Pour cet défi, j'ai utilisé une app, Duolingo, et j'ai pratiqué chaque jour. C'était très difficile et mon français n'est pas parfait, mais je suis heureux d'avoir essayé. Oui, alors, soyez en sécurité et vivre à domicile. Au revoir.
I have made my pillow. This is what it turned out like. As you can see, it's a little bit lopsided. I did use the sewing machine to do all of these edges, and then, as you'll see from the clips, I hand sewed this corner here so that you can put the stuffing in. So if you look really closely, you can see like it is noticeable, the seam and all that, but I mean, I think for my first attempt, I think it's quite okay for a first attempt at making a pillow.